Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pasi Ma. I'm from the, as Claudia introduced already myself, I'm from the Microsoft Western Europe, and we are a team of 4 people in Western Europe, and our main goal is to, of course, grow our Azure public cloud business, but to do that purely with open source based workloads. And we're actually measured by that revenue, and another key measurement for us is also how many virtual machine hours are being spent on Azure with running Linux. So that's another of our key goals. You might have seen some recent news related to kind of a Microsoft publishing open source, like some of our .NET framework has been open sourced, and even our CEO declaring that Microsoft loves Linux. But I'd like to do a small quiz if I'm able to see you. How long do you think we've been up to this? Who thinks it's since 2014 that Satya Nadella took the helm? Couple of people? Okay. It's been a bit longer than that. How about 2001? Anyone? One person even stating that, and not quite yet, not quite that early. You might recall that 2001, Steve Ballmer was saying some unfortunate things regarding regarding Linux and some unfortunate things. But already in 2004, we open sourced first bit of our own code. In the early days, our goal was basically twofold: to first of all selfishly ensure that open source technologies would run better on Windows also. That's related to what we did with PHP and a few other projects, or ensuring interoperability with open source technologies, and that's what, for example, I would pick up the work related to Samba. But later, we also started to contribute code to open source projects ourselves, like around 2009, we were one of big contributors to even to the Linux kernel project. Of course, again, as big companies might also sometimes be a bit selfish on that, that was about Hyper-V support and integrating that into the Linux kernel tree. But then later, we've been doing a lot of work with Node.js project community, being even becoming a member of the Apache Foundation, and during last year, for example, we became a financer of one of the companies financing the core internet infrastructure project. Why? Because, well, those certain problems that we had during the last winter and the year before that, they hit us also. For example, our community virtual machine image repository that we maintain, the number of images available plummeted because all the publishers were withdrawing the images, Linux images, because they needed patching. So that's one of the reasons why we decided that we also need to contribute financial resources for the projects making the core internet infrastructure. And there was a nice guest keynote by Jonathan today about what's the mission and vision of a company, and how to use that as an uplifting kind of a guidance in your work, and what's guiding us at Microsoft. It's empowering organizations and empowering people to achieve more. And from my line of business, the main ambition we have is to build the intelligent cloud platform. This is the landscape, technology landscape that all of our customers look like today. So we've for a long time realized that there's no such thing as a pure play. So we absolutely need to enable people and our customers and our partners to integrate and use whatever they need to kind of realize the business value they are after. And kind of how do we then aim to do this? Is that there's three main kind of topics that, okay, first of all, our goal is to empower customers by giving you people the freedom to choose whatever technology you wish to use if you're using a public cloud platform. And so that's a definitive kind of a design point of Azure, that whether you use Windows Server, Linux, or SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB, etc., it should be up to you to choose what you want to use. Then the freedom to change, and that's related to having the freedom to host whenever you wish based on your requirements. If you're after the ultimate agility, cost, you might choose public cloud. If you have regulatory requirements that dictate you have to keep something in a specific country, we've created a network of partners called CloudOS Network that offer Azure-compatible services locally. And of course, in the ultimate case, as we are using the same Hyper-V technology across from the public cloud to the individual servers you can run on your data center, you can also decide to bring the workload all the way to home. So it's up to you to decide how to get optimum value for your business. We also aim to enable the choice by ensuring that we support cross-platform tooling. Like, for example, for Azure, if you're a developer developing and targeting the Azure cloud platform, we are supporting by tooling, having cross-platform tooling that you can do your development not only on Windows workstation, but you can use also OS X or a Linux workstation to do the development. Another area is the investment we do into the work related to open standards. I'm myself involved with the ISO cloud standardization under the Joint Technical Committee, Subcommittee 38, which has already finished standards work on cloud computing vocabulary and reference architecture. And the next pieces of work are very interesting. There's going to be there's been work started on standardizing SLA agreements and frameworks for cloud services. which will enable customers to then use that reference and baseline to compare their cloud providers. Another key area of work going on in the SC38 is also interoperability, making data portable and making sure that you have the freedom to move from a provider to provider. Related to interop, some practical examples of what we've been doing is that we've been also hosting ourselves some of the Plugfest events where actual product developers are meeting each other and testing out their solutions. Do they interoperate? Do these two products talk to each other regarding file shares, regarding document formats, regarding emails? And that's one of the key works that we do. I already mentioned a couple of slides ago about some examples of our open source ecosystem engagement. Third crucial point is being able to provide a trusted cloud. And I actually would like to take a moment and deviate a bit, because I'd like to paraphrase what Raphael was mentioning in his opening keynote, that he had the 4 commandments of trusted internet services. He was saying they should be available from many providers. How are we going attempting to achieve that? Well, Azure-compatible services are available at least from those Cloud OS network partners. And kind of the third point on Raphael's list was it should be also available as a software. Well, you can take the Azure Pack currently, and in the future the Azure Stack, and build your own private cloud with that. So I hope that kind of at least partially is an answer to that requirement. And being able to move your data. We do guarantee that even if you decide to terminate your agreement, your contract regarding Azure, for example, if you have a subscription there, we will keep your data available for transfer for you, and for that, so that you are able to securely kind of move between platforms. And related to that, in relation to being secure, private, and keeping customers in control, we do contractually also guarantee that we will delete it after you after you've terminated your subscription, so that we absolutely never use any data, customer data on Azure, for any other purpose than for providing the said service to you. The fourth point that the fourth tenet that Raphael mentioned was it should be open source. Well, we are not there yet. As you saw from the timeline, we've been doing more and more stuff. Our partial answer to that perhaps is that we have opened up trust centers around the world, one being in Brussels, where you can come and you are free to bring your own tooling and inspect the code, the source code of the software. You can bring any analysis tooling you wish, and you can compile the code and do whatever you wish to do with that. And I know it's not open source, but it goes to some extent to alleviate potential concerns that customers, especially government customers, might have on that. To mention a couple of other things regarding the maintaining the trust and creating trust in cloud, we also provide contractual controls and mechanisms for customers to ensure that their data is kept private, and we contractually agree to notify any business customer that if we, for example, receive from any government a government request for that data, and you probably are all too familiar to some of the cases like the Irish warrant case that we are fighting currently against the US government, and I really hope that we win that, because that would be better for all of the internet. Our simple goal with the Azure Cloud Platform is to make it a platform for platforms. So any application you wish to run, built with any framework, using any data store, running on any operating system, or communicating to any client device operating system, you should be able to run that on Azure. So whether, for example, our mobile from the platform as a service side, the mobile services, we offer native level of support to all of the major mobile platforms, whether you are building client apps for iOS, Android, or Windows Phone. We are using, for example, the native push mechanisms for messaging for each of those platforms. And the key differentiators that we believe that sets us apart is first of all, hyperscale. There are two other, of course, hyperscale providers commonly referred, but we already have 19, I think that's the current figure, 19 production regions, which is, I believe, more than Google and Amazon together, with over 1 million servers deployed currently. Regarding a hybrid, we are able to provide the best integration services to kind of do hybrid solution, spanning multiple clouds or spanning your on-premise and cloud. And regarding enterprise grade, for example, we have currently the largest virtual machine size available with 32 virtual cores and 448 gigabytes, if I recall it correctly, 448 gigabytes of memory available. So you should be assured that your business needs can be properly served on Azure. And by the way, 22% currently, roughly 22% of the virtual machine hours spent on Azure are spent by Linux virtual machines. And actually, it's growing a lot faster than the Windows-based workloads. So I'm very happy about that. So what are some of the let's say, recent industry innovation themes that we are working with and with open source specifically? For example, microservice architectures and containers. We're working with Docker and also with Canonical on that area. In relation to big data, our kind of a Hadoop clusters as a service is called HD Insight. And that's actually the first Microsoft-provided service that is based on Linux. You can run from HD Insight, you can create Linux-based Hadoop clusters as a service. On DevOps side, we are doing a lot of work integrating with DevOps tooling that you are familiar with, like Chef, Puppet, Salt, Ansible. And also on the Internet of Things side, data analytics and stream analytics tooling plus Apache Storm is a nice example. And there again, selecting to support a standard REST-based MQP protocol on that side. We already start to have a good number of customers using open source. It's regrettable that there are some even better known names that we do know internally, but we are not yet able to kind of quote some of those. But let's talk about DAVGOD. DAVGOD, we've been working a lot from Finland with, and the basic promise that we together made possible is that DAVGOD, including the Open-Xchange app suite and including Azure hosting, they can offer a price of $1 per mailbox per year. And quite many people are asking me, hey, what's the sense of Microsoft doing cooperation with DAVGOD? Aren't you competing with yourself? Well, if you take, you probably know, if you take Exchange, we are never going to compete with this price point with hosters and ISPs. So there's really no competition. This is cooperation at its best, and I believe we have a good story there, and you're very welcome to come and visit our booth to have to discuss some of the details on that. By the way, I just learned today actually that I'm missing one component there, because I heard that the Aller Media case that this is about also has Halen as the email security component included in that project. So, as a final note, I think that we have something interesting to you to offer, and I welcome you to visit us at our booth downstairs by the cafe counter. And as a small incentive perhaps to you, we also have $100 vouchers for Azure. So as long as you activate it before the end of this month, you are free to do a nice test drive on Azure. And I welcome you all to have a chat with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pasi, Mäkinen.